Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today we're talking Halloween 6, how to fix Halloween 6 more specifically. You got the OG theatrical, you got the producer's cut, you got the splice versions that are popular online. This is a very polarizing movie in the Halloween franchise, but I'm gonna just come out and say one very controversial thing right off the bat. Halloween 6 is one of my favorite sequels in the Halloween franchise, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. The same way that I think Freddy's Dead is one of the better sequels in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. People think this is a shtick that I'm just hyping up Freddy's Dead for no reason. I really think it's a good movie, actually. I'm not kidding about that. And Halloween 6 has been moving up on my list for years. From first watching it at my friend Dana's house at his birthday party as a young wee lad eating pizza, doubleheader, Friday 13th Part 7 New Blood, Curse of Michael Myers. From a kid until now, I've grown to like the movie more and more. Now the criticisms of Halloween 6 just bounce right off me. Like, I don't even take them as seriously as people say. I know that there's a lot of dumb shit in this movie, but I'm still a huge fan. I love Halloween 6. Damn near it's in my top 3 or 4 in the franchise now, and that's saying a lot. My top 2 I know for a fact are the original Halloween, and number 2 is Halloween 4, my favorite sequel. But Halloween 6, man, it's climbing up. With every watch, I grow to like it more. But that said, listen, it certainly isn't The Godfather Part 2. There's certainly flaws that can be fixed, and that's what we're here to talk about. Of course, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button, the like button, the thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you think about Halloween 6 and how you would improve it. All right, let's get to my list. The first thing we're going to do, this has been talked about over and over again, but we're going to cast Danielle Harris, whatever money she wants, Miramax, Weinstein's, whoever, Mustafa Akkad, pay Danielle Harris her damn money. She earned it. One of the best child performances ever in Halloween 4, Halloween 5. She's also really good in The Last Boy Scout as well, if you haven't seen that. Great Bruce Willis, Damon Wayans, buddy comedy. But look, Danielle Harris she's the lifeblood. Next to Dr. Loomis, she carries the whole Thorn trilogy. So to not get a payoff with her in this third movie, it's a damn shame. I mean, I know that you can say, hey, look what happens to the character Jamie Lloyd. Do you really want to see Danielle Harris come back and have that kind of ending? Well, no, we're going to change that part of it. But first thing is, get Danielle Harris signed on the dotted line. How many damn times you bring back Jamie Lee Curtis? You can't bring back Danielle Harris for just this movie to finish off her own damn trilogy? No, we need Danielle Harris in this movie. Now, what are we doing with Jamie Lloyd? Well, I'm personally a huge fan of the entire opening sequence of Halloween. Everything with, the bus station, the barn, the chase scene. I dig the opening 15 minutes of Halloween 6 a lot. So I want to keep that, of course, with Danielle Harris playing Jamie Lloyd. But we're going to lean more towards the producer's cut thing here, where Michael does stab her, but she does not die. She's going to be confined to the hospital. I know I've complained about this in terms of Laurie Strode in Halloween 2, confined in the hospital. Halloween Kills, Laurie Strode confined in the hospital. I've complained about both of those situations. But this is the best I can do with Danielle Harris here because we got to keep the majority of the movie in part. We got to fix some things here. She's alive in the hospital, unconscious for most of the movie, but there's no middle part where the man in black comes and shoots her in the head like the producer's cut. She's going to stay alive until the end, and I'll get to a little bit later about what happens at the end with her, but we're keeping Danielle Harris, we're keeping that whole opening sequence, and we're having her just get stabbed, and she's in the hospital, eating terrible hospital food and Jell-O and watching whatever TV shows or streaming channels they have at the hospital. I don't know. Okay, let's go on to number 2. I like the character Kara a lot. Kara is one of the more underrated final girls in the entire Halloween franchise. But I'm going to take away Kara. She's not going to be a mother in this movie. She's not going to have a son. We're going to eliminate the son, the character Danny. Reason why is because Danny and then you have the baby Steven. Between the two of them, it gets very confusing about what the cult's plan is here. Are they trying to make Danny the next Michael Myers or the baby Steven the next Michael Myers? It kind of goes back and forth. The man in black seems like he's trying to take Danny under his tutelage, but then Michael really wants the baby. So it's confusing. We don't need both the baby and Danny. And I think from a pure shock and drama standpoint, Michael going after the baby is a lot more shocking. It adds a lot more stake, a little bit more weight to it. So we're going to have Kara just be a normal college student who has big problems with her asshole father, who's going to still get what he deserves, no question about it. But Danny, unfortunately, Maybe you can be in a Karate Kid movie, the actor. Maybe you could be, in the movie Sidekick. Well, no, he can't be in Sidekicks. That's definitely Jonathan Brandis. But maybe he'll go on to be, in The Sixth Sense of Haley Joel Osment. I don't know, but the actor, unfortunately, you're eliminated from Halloween. Curse of Michael Myers, the Vic version. Okay, number 3, more Dr. Loomis. Very simple. Of all of Dr. Loomis's movies, this is the one with the least amount of Dr. Loomis, the least amount of screen time. Now, I know that this can be chalked up to the idea that maybe Donald Pleasance wasn't in the best health. Of course, unfortunately, shortly passed away soon after filming the movie. And of course, in his old age here, maybe there's not as much he can do as the earlier movies. He can't be, diving over dumpsters and, shooting Michael 6 times, beating him with a pipe. All those things probably weren't possible here. But we need more gravitas. We need more Dr. Loomis in this movie. And one thing we really need, the big misstep in the movie, the one thing I'd probably fix, is you have to have some face-to-face confrontation between Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis. It is unacceptable in a Halloween movie to not have at least one scene where Dr. Loomis comes face-to-face with his biggest nightmare, his old patient, Michael Myers, because it's always so cool to see how Michael Myers reacts to Loomis. I made the whole video about, why doesn't Michael kill Loomis? It's always curious to see Michael going in for kind of a half-hearted, hey, old man, get out my way, but I don't want to actually kill you type of shot. Like stabbing him in a way where he's not really killing him, throwing him across the room, throwing him through the window. Their relationship is so fascinating, and Curse of Michael Myers robs us of any interaction between Loomis and Michael. I don't know who to blame for that. I don't know if that was like a writing thing, the director, if nobody noticed. I feel like someone should have been like, wait a minute, we're not putting them in any scene together, so we got to have more Loomis and some confrontation, some real finality between Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis. It really makes, the movie makes Halloween 5's ending for Dr. Loomis a lot more better. You kind of wish, knowing what we know now, that maybe Dr. Loomis did not come back for Curse of Michael Myers, just have his ending in Halloween 5 be his final thing. All right, let's talk Tommy Doyle. Last week I was complaining a lot about Tommy Doyle in Halloween Kills. Why? Because I hate the character in Halloween Kills. That representation, that is not my Tommy Doyle. Now, Paul Rudd would go on to be, a huge star. He's done so many good movies, and I would even point to even 1995's Clueless as, a good movie as well with Paul Rudd. But what is he doing here in Halloween 6? I like Tommy Doyle in this movie. I like Paul Rudd. I'm a huge fan, but the only thing that stops him, in my opinion, from being one of the best final heroes in all of horror movies, there's something, I don't know if it's the writing or a decision that Paul Rudd made, but there's a little bit like the creepiness factor of him is turned up a little bit too much. If he's going to be our main protagonist, you got to turn down the kind of the creepy, the weirdness of Tommy Doyle in this movie. He makes certain facial expressions. He has certain tics. The way he says his dialogue, it's hard sometimes to see what they're going for. I know that the idea is he's obsessed with Michael Myers, maybe traumatized by the whole experience from the original Halloween. But I gotta make him like more, I don't want to say like leading manish. It doesn't mean that he has to actually spark an actual romance with Kara, even though I feel like they're hinting towards that, like he has a crush on her. But something to make him a little bit more final guy protagonist, and less like sort of side character, creepy guy in the shadows. I mean, he's kind of channeling Tommy Jarvis from Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, and I didn't like Tommy Jarvis in that movie. So I just want to turn down the creepiness factor of Tommy Doyle a little bit. I don't know if that's the performance or the writing, and just make him a little bit more, badass, straightforward, less creep factor. But, that's to each their own. A lot of people enjoy the exact performance that Paul Rudd gives and the exact writing of it. I just want a little bit more of a normalcy with Tommy Doyle. I do like at the end with him beating the shit out of Michael Myers in the pipe, but we're going to adjust that a little bit in just a moment. All right, some other minor things we can talk about real quick first. Let's cut out the whole radio show host death in the middle of the movie. This makes no sense. He goes to his van. Michael Myers is in the back of the van and, kills him. I'm like, none of this makes any sense to me. Why is Michael taking time out of his night to kill this radio show host? How does he know which car to be in to actually do this? How does he know the radio show host is going to come to the car? It's just one of those deaths that, like, man, this is strictly to up the body count, but it makes no sense. Michael peels his hair and he's back at the house and then back there, and he's like, some serious, Haddonfield horrorportation, we call it teleportation in horror movies. Serious horrorportation going on here. Kind of not the radio show host, getting killed there. Maybe not even feature him in the movie. I like him in the opening, but it's pretty annoying, that whole middle part with him. Okay. Let's talk about Dr. Wynn for a second. Our famous Man in Black. Let's be honest, if we could all just cut out the entire Man in Black storyline, we would. But again, we don't want to completely, take a hack to this movie with an axe. We want to just try to cut some things that maybe can make it a little bit better. And Dr. Wynn, the only thing with him is that we need to see him actually die in the movie. In the theatrical cut, we get probably my favorite scene is the whole hospital room massacre. Michael shows up in the room, shows that nobody can control him, not a cult. I think that message in the theatrical is way more powerful than the producer's cut. Michael cannot be controlled, turns on the entire cult, massacres them in the hospital room. But we saw Dr. Wynn go into that room, so where the hell is he? Where's, a body, a death scene? You're telling me the Man in Black doesn't get a death scene? You're telling me the old kung fu proverb, the student has to kill the teacher? We don't get that moment with Michael and Dr. Wynn. That's just silly. You gotta have Dr. Wynn die in the movie, show his body. You're doing the damn Sheriff Meeker thing where you don't know what happened to him, we don't see the death scene. I hate that. Okay. All right, let's get back to Michael being beat to hell with a pipe at the end of Halloween 6. I like the scene, but that can't be the ending because that's the ending of Halloween 5. The same exact ending. Loomis tranquilized Michael and then beat him with a pipe. And now what happens in Halloween 6? Tommy Doyle tranquilizes him, beats him with a pipe. You can't have the same ending from your last movie. Now, the writer, Daniel Ferrens, he said that, the crew at this point with reshoots, like, man, just do whatever and get out of here, because I think Michael was actually supposed to hang by the chain. That's a way better ending. Tranquilize him, beat him with a pipe, but then we got to wrap the chain around his neck and let him hang up there, and that's just a better ending. That's a more believable thing. You're telling me they beat him with a pipe and just leave his body there, and they think, hey, job done. It's over. Michael's gone. We beat him with a pipe. We saw green slime like he's on a damn Nickelodeon 90s TV show. We see green slime pouring out of him. Let's just leave Haddonfield. Nobody thinks that's a proper ending, and that's why Loomis is like, man, I got to go back at the end. I got unfinished business, because he knows they didn't kill Michael Myers. So, silly. Let him hang from the chain and go from there. Okay. Let's get back to Jamie Lloyd for a second. I'll talk about Jamie Lloyd is going to be alive throughout the movie. She's going to wake up at the end after all the events are done. Maybe the last scene, we're going to show Dr. Loomis visiting Jamie Lloyd in the hospital at the end as she wakes up. They have some conversation, and what the conversation is about, I don't know. It can be, hey, we took out Michael, Michael's gone, or Jamie, maybe if you want to get really like tie the Thorn trilogy together. Loomis is telling Jamie that Michael's dead, and Jamie, fresh out of her coma or whatever, because she has that mental connection with Michael, have her be like, no, I can still feel him. He's not dead. Cut to horrific look on Loomis's face like, no. No! We hung up 6 times! We hung up 6 times from the chain! Whatever, but kill my cheesy dialogue at him. But Jamie Lloyd realizes Michael's alive, and then we cut back to, the hospital where Michael's gone from the chain. The chain is there. He's no longer there. And then you come back to Loomis screaming, whatever. But that is a proper ending because, hey, you set up now the next sequel because Michael's gone. Jamie's awake. Jamie can sense Michael's there. Loomis is there. You have unlimited possibilities. Let's assume maybe Lord Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't want to come back for H2O. You could do a proper Halloween 7. But even if you leave it at that, you have a somewhat happy ending for the character of Jamie Lloyd. And that would go a long way to increase some goodwill for Halloween 6, because one of the biggest complaints is the most absurd, horrific fate for Jamie Lloyd, to think about what she's gone through in this entire trilogy. Her parents had died, and then her sister figure dies. She stabbed her mom, and now she gets kidnapped by a cult. Don't even talk about the stuff that happens during the producer's cut. I mean, anyways, we'll skip that for now. Okay. Some other things here. Let's talk about, the score is a big thing because controversial, of course, might be the guitar riff that goes throughout the movie. I like the guitar riff. It's grown on me so much because it adds a different feel. It feels 90s. It feels like a 90s MTV music video. It can get annoying at certain points, I understand. But if you make me choose between the guitar riff here or the original Halloween score, the classic score, push comes to shove, I'm taking the Halloween score over the guitar riff. So I would make that change. And that hurts me to say because, again, the guitar riff is so, so uniquely original. But I'm with the atmosphere in this movie, the great atmosphere and the great Michael Myers performance. I want that original Halloween score. I think that's one of the improvements in the producer's cut is having the OG Halloween score. All right, so those are things I would probably throw in there to try to fix the movie. But I want to say that this movie has a lot going for it. The fall atmosphere, the Halloween atmosphere is top notch. The cinematography is top notch. Michael Myers is a complete badass in this movie's final form of Thorn Michael Myers. Feels like Michael settled into whatever he was going to grow up to be. This is the final form of Michael Myers. There's so much good here. So my improvements are basically mostly peripheral. I'm not taking a hack to the movie in any way. Certain more respect for certain legacy characters like Jamie Lloyd. But as is, right now, I can pop in my Blu-ray of Halloween 6 and have fun with both the theatrical and the producer's cut. Damn near I love this movie. It's climbing the list. The next question that's going to come to mind, it's going to shock everybody. It's going to be, would I take Halloween 6 over Halloween 2? And that's just going to boggle the mind because it sounds like Halloween blasphemy already. I'm just saying I'm hinting at the idea. It's circling my thoughts. I haven't really put a lot of thought into it yet. I don't know if it's going to be a real possibility, but it's moving up the list, damn it. That's all I'm saying. All right, that's all I got for today. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. What would you do to fix Halloween 6 or improve it? Or do you love it as it is, as I do? And until next time, you guys take care.